also. And I'm not shy to say that. Paulo Freire actually found his inspiration in a movement called liberation theology, where some people like Archbishop Romero, Jonathan Sobrino, and others worked together to denounce the injustice that these South American people and Central American people lived. And growing from there, from this environment, Paulo Freire quickly started to talk about how are we going to change this. And Paulo Freire's work, again, is rooted into this liberation theology, and we have to know a little bit about this before we can actually talk to our own students about that. Good citizens, good abiding citizens, and doing so.
Thank you, Mr. Rosso, for that very inspiring talk. Thank you very much. The main seeds of Gandhiji's movement towards liberation and for freedom, they all started in South Africa. They all sprouted there. So to look into that chapter, connection with South Africa, we have a dedicated teacher and a community leader, Mr. T.R. Pillai, to address that particular issue. Mr. Pillai was born in South Africa and he graduated from the University of South Africa. He also got his master's in education from University of Alberta and later served for several years as a vice principal in one of the high schools at the Sherwood Park. Not to miss some things here, I must see in my notes here. One of the highlights of his long distinguished career is helping establish the Satya Sky School of Canada and serving as its founding principal from year 2000 to 2006. Recently, Mr. Pillai was appointed the very first director of the Canadian Institute of Satya Sai Education, and his topic of talk today is Mahatma Gandhi, the South Africa connection. Mr. Pillai.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I feel honored to be here. And when I was invited at short notice by Dr. Kharbanda to participate in this afternoon's event, I readily agreed. Who can resist being sharing the same podium with a young person that I have long admired for his sharp thinking, his articulate speech, as well as powerful writing like Satya Das. I also agreed for several other reasons. One is I feel a strong connection with Mahatma Gandhi. I really love his ideas on transformation. The fact that he says, become the change that you want in the world. I also happen to be from the city where this great turning point in his life took place. When people ask me, where are you from? I say South Africa, but really, where are you from? They think I will say Johannesburg or Durban or Cape Town. I say Pietermaritzburg. They said, what's that? I said, well, it's the capital of Natal. And they still don't get it. Then I say, have you seen the movie Mahatma Gandhi? They say, yes. Do you know where he was thrown off the train? Do you remember that scene? They say, yes. Then I say, well, I am from that city. Now that was a remarkable turning point in his life, as we will see in a short while. Another reason is that when I went to South Africa a few years ago, one of my friends said, TR, have you seen a book called From Cane Fields to Freedom? I said, no. He says, man, you are in it. You and your wife, your picture is there. Now this book has been put together by the granddaughter of Mahatma Gandhi, Uma Dupelia Mestri, who is a professor of history in the Western Cape. And she put together a photographic essay, a chronology of South African history, Indian history and culture. And my wife and I figure in a section where several pages are devoted to Gandhi's struggle for justice in South Africa. I was the president of the Alumni Association of my high school. And in those days we held several dances in order to raise funds for scholarships for students. So this book shows my wife and I dancing, and Mrs. Dupelia's thesis is that from the time when the Indians first went as indentured laborers to South Africa, they gradually became westernized, and Mr. and Mrs. T.R. Pillay are projected in this book as aping Western culture. Now, what is Gandhi's connection with South Africa? Some historians say that Gandhi was not India's gift to South Africa, but he was South Africa's gift to India. And one of the members of the ministry of Thaba Mbeki, the past president of South Africa, Dr. Isup Padar, said that Gandhi came to South Africa as a lawyer and he left as a Mahatma. Now, how true is this? And why is it so? And how did it happen? There are still debates by historians whether that in fact is true. That whether South Africa was the primary influence in this great character change that took place in Gandhi and his outlook, or whether it was a combination of factors. However,